Welcome to the 6th episode of Revelation Unveiled. In this series, we are exploring the prophetic book of Revelation, chapter by chapter, verse by verse. So let's dive right in. We're going to begin with Revelation 8:1. And when he had opened the seventh seal, there was a silence in heaven about the space of half an hour, and I saw the 7 angels which had the 7 trumpets. Now, what do you think? What comes to your mind when you hear the word silence? For me personally, I think of awkward pauses and uncomfortable moments. But in this case, the silence in heaven is not awkward at all. It's actually solemn. It's the kind of silence that surrounds the court of King James when he's about to deliver a royal decree. You know, the kind of silence that settles over the courtroom just before the judge bangs his gavel and everybody is still. That's the kind of silence that John is describing here in Revelation 8:1. And then John sees 7 angels that have 7 trumpets. They're coming up out of the smoke from the altar. Now, in the Old Testament, trumpets were used to announce special occasions and to signal important events. Think of the Feast of Trumpets in Leviticus chapter 23. So the 7 angels with the 7 trumpets are about to announce something very important, something that will start the 7-year tribulation period. And so these angels begin to play their trumpets, but before they do, one of them takes a golden censer. Now, the censer was used by the priests in the Old Testament to burn incense and make sweet-smelling smoke. And here in Revelation, this censer is described as being made of gold. Gold symbolizes perfection, and it also speaks of Christ's sacrifice, because gold was one of the precious materials used to build the altar of incense in the tabernacle and the temple. So this angel with the golden censer represents Christ himself, who is our perfect high priest. And notice what he does with it. He takes the censer and casts it down to the earth. And there are 2 significant things that happen when the golden censer is cast down. First, the smoke of the censer goes up with the prayers of all the saints. This is a wonderful picture of Christ taking our prayers into the presence of God. And secondly, the angel then gives way to the trumpets, allowing them to sound. Now, the sound of the trumpet is the announcement of judgment. And so the casting down of the censer and the sounding of the trumpet both happen at the same time. And together they mark the closing of probation and the beginning of the period of human judgment, the 7-year tribulation period. You know, in a courtroom drama, when the judge bangs his gavel and says, "Order in the court," everything changes. The atmosphere shifts, and that's exactly what happens here at the sounding of the trumpet. The 7 seals have been opened. Christ has removed the restraining hand. Judgment has begun. The 7 trumpets are about to sound, and the tribulation is about to begin. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Revelation Unveiled. Until next time, walk in the Spirit and be blessed.